Narasimhaya. Namaste Narasimhaya. Namaste Narasimhaya. Namaste Narasimhaya. Dalayine. Dalayine. Hiranyakashipurvakshaha. Hiranyakashipurvakshaha. Shilakankanakalaye. Shilakankanakalaye. Ito Narasimha Parato Narasimha. Ito Narasimha Parato Narasimha. Yato yato yami tato Narasimha. Yato yato yami tato Narasimha. Pahi Narasimha Hridaye Narasimha. Pahi Narasimha Hridaye Narasimha. Narasimhamadhim sharanam prapade. Narasimhamadhim sharanam prapade. Narasimhamadhim sharanam prapade. Narasimhamadhim sharanam prapade. Tavakara kamala vare natham adbhuta shringam. Dalita hiranyakashipu anubhinga. Keshavadeta narahari rupa. Jai Jagadish Hare. Jai Jagadish Hare. Jai Jagadish Hare. Kamala Vare Natham Adbhuta Shringam. Dalita Hiranyakashipu Anubhinga. Keshavadrita Narahari Rupa. Jai Jagadish Hare. Jagadish Hare. Jagadish Hare. Kamala Vare Adbhuta Shringam. Dalita Hiranyakashipu Anubhinga. Keshavadrita Narahari Rupa. Jai Jagadish Hare. Jai Jagadish Hare. Jai Jagadish Hare. Kashipu Anubhinga. Keshavadrita Narahari Rupa. Jai Jagadish Hare. Jagadish Hare. Jagadish Hare. Keshavadrita Narahari Rupa. Jai Jagadish Hare. Jai Jagadish Hare. Jai Jagadish Hare. Keshavadrita Narahari Rupa. Jai Jagadish Hare. Jai Jagadish Hare. Jagadish Hare. Narasimhadev, Jaya Narasimhadev, Jaya Narasimhadev, Narasimhadev, Jaya Narasimhadev, Jaya Prahlad Maharaj, Prahlad Maharaj, Prahlad Maharaj, Jaya Prahlad Maharaj, Jaya Prahlad Maharaj, Prahlad Maharaj. Gaur Premanande, Hari Hari.
Whoa.
So good to see you
Hare
all.
Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Dandavat pranam. My humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Yes, Srila Prabhupada. Okay, so thank you so much, all of you, for joining the call here today. And today is Friday, so we're going to have the Srimad Bhagavatam class. And we will do that after a few prayers. And before we go into our regular class, I wanted to mention that we have our congregation member, Shalini Mataji, and she lost a sister. She just told me a few minutes before the start of this class. So I just told her, and she's trying to get into the temple. The temple is closed, right? And I don't have the authority to open it. So anyway, so I just told her that I have to go to a class, and I'll request you all to chant for her sister, a so smooth passage of her sister. Her sister's name is Sushma. And so we will chant the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra 11 times for her, Sister Shushma, and also for the peace of Shalini Mataji and other beloved family members. So we'll get started now. After these short prayers, then we'll do the Hare Krishna Mantra, and then we'll go and recite from Srimad Bhagavatam. Okay?
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Mudiraye. Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjan Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Dear Sri Lord Chaitanya, Sri Radha Madan Mohan, Sri Nrsimhadev, please accept our prayers for the smooth passage of Shushma Mataji, who left her body recently, and also for the peace of her sister and other family members. Thank you so much for considering our request. Hare Krishna. So we will get started with Srimad Bhagavatam, and whose prayers are we doing these days? Got one answer, got two answers, three answers, four answers, and all of them are right. Okay, so we're doing the prayers of Queen Kunti. And from which verse do prayers of Queen Kunti start? Shana Mataji says 18, and she is right on top of that. Okay, so let's get going. We have done 2 prayers and we are going to do a third one now today. And so I'm going to start sharing the screen with you here. And today's verse is Tatha Paramhamsanam Muninam Amalatmanam Bhakti Yoga Vidhanatham Katham Pashyemahi Striyaha Tatha Paramhamsanam Muninam Amalatmanam Bhakti Yoga Vidhanartham Katham Pashyemahi Striyaha Tatha Paramahamsanam Muninam Amalatmanam Bhakti Yoga Vidhanartham Katham Pashyemahi Striyaha. And going to the synonyms now. Tatha means besides. So she has been talking something about Krishna in the previous 2 verses, and she's saying, you did this, and you are this, and you are this, and besides. So she's starting this verse with, besides all that, this is also what you do. Paramhamsanam, of the advanced transcendentalists. Muninam, of the great philosophers or mental speculators. Amal Atmanam, those whose minds are competent to discern between spirit and matter. Bhakti Yoga, the science of devotional service. Vidhanartham, for executing. Katham, how. Paschima, can observe. He, certainly. Striya, women. So if we go back to the previous 2 verses where Kunti has been praying to Krishna, and these verses, as you said, the prayers start from 18. So let's see. In the 18th verse, she was saying that, oh Krishna, you are existing both within and without everything, and you are invisible to everyone. So she's talking about seeing, right? And saying that you cannot see Krishna, right? She starts her prayer with that. And then she says that, okay, that's because of the qualities that Krishna has. He's beyond material nature, right? So we can't see him. Then he's also saying, she goes on further and she says that being beyond the range of limited sense perception, you are eternally irreproachable factor. So you are, number one, you are beyond that. But even if you come in front of us, right? But because of the curtain that Maya puts on us, that we are not able to understand that this one standing in front of me is actually Krishna. And that's why Krishna says in Manushim Tamum Anum Ashrita, right? He says that people think, in 9/11, he thinks that, that I have taken this human body, and that's what they think when I am there. So you are invisible. So she's again talking about invisible and not being able to, people not being able to comprehend and understand and observe that he's there, right? And then, of course, in today's verse, she's continuing on that principle, and she's saying that observe, paschima. So she's continuing on with this thing, right? So in the translation, she's saying that you yourself descend to propagate the science of devotional service unto the hearts of the advanced transcendentalists and mental speculators who are purified by being able to discriminate between matter and spirit. How then can we women know you perfectly? Now, this is a statement that's going to agitate all of you. This is a dangerous statement. It's going to get all the Matajis worked up. So before we, and so we have to look at this in a very different light, this and appreciate the character of Kunti Maharani more, even more, based on the sentences that she is speaking now. So let's first try to understand a little bit about who Kunti Maharani is and a little bit about her background, right? So Kunti Maharani is the mother of, is the aunt of Krishna, right? She's the aunt of Krishna, and she is Krishna's father's sister, right? And her original name when she was born in that family of Surasena, her name was Pritha. That's why sometimes in our shlokas we see that, right? Son of Pritha, oh son of Pritha, oh son of Pritha, right? So son of Pritha is Arjun, or son of Pritha or Parth, like that. So we hear those sentences there quite often. And then we also hear that she being addressed as Kunti. So is she Pritha or is she Kunti? So she got her name Kunti because her father had given her away to Kunti Bhoj, to King Kunti Bhoj, right? And so she was there. Kunti Bhoj didn't have a daughter, so he, gave his daughter to him and said, "You take care of her," right? So Kunti Maharani, even as a very small girl, was a very advanced personality. She was a very advanced lady. And she was although she was a princess, she was very good at serving with a lot of humility. That was a very strong trait in Kunti Maharani, that she would, she would just serve and serve and serve all the elders with a lot of humility. And so one day, of all the people who could come and visit Kunti Bhoj, the one who visited was Durvasa Muni. And we know about Durvasa Muni, that Durvasa Muni, if he gets angry, then that's it. He'll start cursing you left, right, and center. So people were scared of him. And so Kunti Maharani served him so nicely. So it speaks a lot about her capabilities and her intelligence at knowing that Durvasa, and understanding even at such a small age that you have to serve your elders, and especially if you have an elder like Durvasa Muni, you have to take extra care. And she did all that with humility, so much so that she was able to please Durvasa Muni. Now that's a big achievement for anybody to do that. So she pleased him, and as part of that, interaction with him, Durvasa Muni said, "Okay, I'm so pleased with you that I'm going to give you some boons." So from curse to boons, it was raised. And so he gave her the boon that she could invoke any devta, and she could do it 5 times like that. So she was a young girl. She didn't understand the import of that. And so she took the boon and he left, and she didn't tell anybody that she had the boons. And one idle afternoon, she was sitting in her palace, and she just said, "Oh, he gave me the boon. Let me test it out." Right? A small child said, "Let me test it out." And she tested. And so she was able, the boon was that she could bring in, to invoke and call any demigod. She called the demigod, and the demigod came. And Durvasa Muni had given her this boon, saying that you will have a need to use it later on in life. And so she did not understand what is later on in life and things like that. So she invoked, and Surya came. So she was very, very happy when Surya, came to her demigod, and she prayed to him and offered obeisances, served him, and then Surya was also very pleased. And then he said that, "Okay, now a time has come for me to give you the boon. And this is what the mantra is, that you will invoke me and I'll come and I'll give you a boon." And Kunti Maharani said, "No, I don't want a boon. I just, I was just testing the efficacy of this mantra, and you're there. I'm just so happy that you came." He said, "No, the mantra will not be complete till the demigod grants you the boon." And lo and behold, the boon was that, "I will give you a son." And she's a young unmarried girl, and she's like, "Oh my goodness." She says, that's not possible. It's not to be done. It's not proper, because who's going to marry me after this happens? So he said, no, it's not that. You won't lose any of your femininity or purity. And it's because he's a demigod. So demigods can, use any of their organs to perform any of the actions. They have some mystic powers in them, so they can do some of them. And so she gets a son. And then, of course, she's scared and ashamed. So she puts the son in a basket and puts him in the river, right? And then he later on gets picked up, and we all know that his name is, what is his name? Can you tell me? Yes, so Karna, his name is Karn. Okay. And then, so then we know that later on how her husband Pandu was also cursed because he used an arrow and he did not see properly, right? He just heard the sound and he thought it was an animal, deer. And so he let loose a shabd barn that, which you hear the sound and he let it go. The arrow went and pierced a Brahmana, a Muni who was trying to make his wife pregnant at that moment. So the wife of the Brahmana died, and the wife cursed and said that, you also will die if at the time that you try to copulate. And so when he hears that, he's like so worried about that. And he goes and tells his wife that this is what's going to happen to me. And he's a king. He needs to have heir to the throne. So then Kunti comes and says, hey, you know what? I have got these. Well, when I was young, Durvasa Muni and unmarried, Durvasa Muni gave me this boon. But now, of course, now I'm married, I won't do any such thing. But then Pandu ordered her and said, no, you have to get that. So then she invokes. So which god does she invoke first? Do you remember? Out of which Yudhishthir is born. Archana says Yamraj, Veera says Yamraj, and that is correct, right? So Yamraj. And then comes Bhim Dev, right? Bhim is the son of which god? Virabhav is very nimble today. She has her Pandavas correctly lined up. Vayu or Pavandev, as is known, right? And then is Arjuna. Arjuna is Indra, exactly, right? And then we have, so then there was a co-wife also, Madri, right? And then the Madri is a young, very much younger than Kunti. And she's like, oh, you're getting all the sons. You're getting all the sons. What's going to happen to me? I won't have any sons. So then Kunti says, okay, here's the mantra. You invoke it. And Madri invokes it 2 times. And so the Ashwini Kumars come. And then they have Nakul and Sahadev. Okay. So that's how all the Pandus are born, and she loves them. And we know the rest of the story, how it happens. And then before the Mahabharata comes, then she goes to, when the Mahabharata is going to be fought, we know that Karna is so powerful. And because Karna was picked up by a Sut, somebody of a lower caste. So people always looked up him as a lower caste person. And the only person who ever gave him a little bit of love and affection or respect was Duryodhan. So he kind of sold his heart and gave his heart to Duryodhan. So he was on the side of the Kauravas. And everybody knew that if there was somebody who could kill Arjuna, it was Karna. So now this Karna had some sort of affection for, this is to be understood, he had some affection for Surya Devta. You can imagine why it was like that, right? So every day he would get up in the morning and he would do his Surya Namaskars and all that things. And at that time, if somebody asked him for any boon, anything he would give. So Indra goes, of course, and Indra asks him for the Kavaj and Kundal. He was born with that Kavaj and Kundal, which was his protection. So he asked for that. And Karna, who is known as a Danveer, very magnanimous, he gives them to him. And then later on, when this Mahabharata war is coming and things like that, Kunti is very much perplexed that she also knows that Arjuna can be killed by Karna only. And so, she goes and talks to Karna and reveals this thing. Now, Karna had been wanting to meet his mother. And when he sees his mother, she's overwhelmed with love and affection towards him. And then he says, when he comes to that Pandavas are his brother, he has a lot of love in his heart for him also. And then he says that, okay, I won't kill them. And I can promise I won't kill this, but Arjuna, I can't promise that, I won't kill him, because Arjuna had said pretty bad things to him earlier. So anyway, then we know Karna refuses to refuses to lead the army of the Kauravas. When on a pretext he says, oh, Bhishma is there. And Bhishma had also not treated him properly. So when Duryodhana is there and Duryodhana declares Bhishma Dev to be the leader, the commander-in-chief of the Kaurava army, Karna on that pretext just goes and says, okay, I won't fight because Bhishma is there. Later on, he was called upon to fight when Bhishma was on the bed of arrows. So then Karna comes to fight, and then we all know that they had to use hook and crook to kill Karna like that. So Kunti, we know, has suffered so much, right? She was such a righteous woman, very, very intelligent, and suffered so much in her life, right? So many times she had to go banished to the forest, and her, daughter-in-law was, they tried to disrobe her sons, they tried to kill, Duryodhana tried to burn all of them in the Lakshagraha. So she has gone through all these things. She's gone through all these turmoils in life, but she is a devotee of Lord Krishna. And these prayers of Queen Kunti, I mean, they bring out so much of the inside of what she actually is in the inside, right? Not just looking at, okay, she had a child when she was unmarried like that, right? Without knowing that, people still, ask for those things and say these things. And then later on, she also goes and after the Mahabharata war is over, she also went to Yudhishthira and said, reveals to them that Karna is the son, and asks him to perform the last rites for Karna. So they do that. And when they come to know about it, everybody's unhappy. And even though they had won the war, a gloom falls upon the Pandava family, and they go back to Hastinapura in a very, very unhappy, very, very unhappy state, right? So there's unhappiness there. There's so much of crying. There's so much of this. And Kunti knows it all. Kunti knows it all. And she comes and bids farewell to Krishna when after this war, Krishna is going away. And she's citing all these nice things. I mean, she's saying that Maya Jamani Kachana. So she's talking about there's a Maya avaran on people, right? But when she says in this verse that the infamous statement that you yourself descend, so he's saying that you yourself descend over here to propagate the transcendental science of devotional service unto the hearts of the advanced transcendentalists. So she's talking about advanced transcendentalists. She's also talking about mental speculators, right? Who are purified by being able to discriminate between matter and spirit. It's not that she doesn't know how to discriminate between matter and spirit. It's just that this is bringing out the humility in Kunti. It is her humility that she's saying that, number one, and there is this outpouring of humility coming out from Kunti because Krishna, who is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, but who, according to the mundane relationships, is at a lower position than Kunti. She's Kunti's nephew, right? Almost like a son. And so this nephew is coming and touching her feet. And so she's now overwhelmed with the fact that the Supreme Personality of Godhead is coming and touching her feet. So now she's just saying, out of humility, she's just trying to express that and saying like, no, don't do that. You are this, and you are this, and you are this. So here she's glorifying and is saying that, look at that. That there are, she's talking about advanced transcendentalists. So being a to be a transcendentalist itself is a major achievement. To know, to have that kind of an intelligence that, okay, there is something going on over here in this material world. There is something superior in this material world, which is governing everything that is going, which is controlling me beyond my powers. So those are the transcendentalists. And so now they try to figure out the spiritual. And not only are they transcendentalists, she's talking about advanced transcendentalists. Right? So she's saying, she's glorifying Krishna, and she's saying that Krishna, you propagate the transcendental science of devotional service into the hearts of advanced transcendentalists. So you are the one who gives them this advanced service thing, right? So to be a transcendentalist means that you are very, very intelligent person. You made the best intelligent choice, the most intelligent choice in the world you made to become a transcendentalist. So it's saying like you are even, much higher than them because you give them that knowledge, you give them that devotional service over there, right? And not only that, she's also glorifying Krishna's magnanimity when she's saying that you will also reveal that devotional service not only in the hearts of transcendentalists who are already your devotees, but you will also do that in the heart of whom? The mental speculators. And the word that she's using up here is muninam, munis. And Prabhupada translates munis as great philosophers or mental speculators, right? So the term muni usually Prabhupada is not using in a very, in a very glorified way. A muni is somebody who has to rake his brains and, use his mental speculation capabilities to come up with ideas. And a muni will come up with ideas, and all the ideas that a muni has to come up with has to be a new idea. Otherwise, can not be called a muni. For example, I am teaching you Srimad Bhagavatam. I am teaching you about the properties of the Lord. I'm teaching you about the properties of the material world, right? I'm not teaching you anything new. I'm just telling you everything that is written. I'm just, whatever I've heard from the other lecturers, other teachers, my own Guru Maharaj, read from Srila Prabhupada, that's all I'm telling you. I'm not coming up with new ideas and defining God in a new way, or for that matter, anything in a new way, because I'm not a Muni, right? So you will see that this Muni concept you will also see in the material world. When people who are PhDs, who are research scholars, they have to research. And after researching, if somebody comes up after doing a lot of research for 5 years, and they come up with a proposal or a theory or something they have come up with, a thesis, they have to now go and sit in front of other people there, and they have to defend whatever they are saying, whatever they have concluded as part of the research. And those are pretty heavy sessions that are there. And if you can't defend it, then you don't get your PhD. If you defend it, then you get the PhD, right? So after doing 6 years of research at the Stanford University, if I come up and as part of my thesis, I say, hey, from all my experimentation that I did, I have come to the conclusion that for every action, there is an equal and opposite reaction. I will not be called Dr. Shraddha-devi Dasi. Why? Because this is not something new. This is something that Newton already told us, decades ago. So one of the things we have to remember is the Muni has to rake their brain like that and then come up with something new, which will be argued by other Munis who are there, or maybe 100 years later, somebody will argue and then say that Muni is wrong. So when you use your mental faculties and come up and cook all these theories, then there are chances that somebody with higher mental faculties is going to, shoot down your idea. So ideas that don't die and cannot be shot down by others, ideas that will never fall, will come from the infallible, the Achyuta. They will come from God, who is transcendental. Okay. So here she's saying that, well, this knowledge, you grant this knowledge for the advanced, you propagate the transcendental science of devotional service. So this knowledge of devotional service, you are giving it into the hearts of advanced transcendentalists. And you also give it into the hearts of the mental speculators. Now we know that in Srimad Bhagavatam, there is that verse, right? It says, Vasudeve Bhagavati Bhakti Yoga Prayojitaha Janyate Asu Vairagyam Jnanam Chatyat Hetukam. So when you do devotional service to the Lord, you will get knowledge, right? So if the advanced transcendentalists get knowledge, that's fine. We have heard about that, right? But here she's going beyond that, and she says, even for the mental speculators, atra bahunam janmanam ante jnanvan mam prapadyate vasudeva sarvam iti samahatma sudurlabha. So she says that bahunam janmanam ante. So Krishna says that after many, many births, these mental speculators will come. And how will they come? Without the mercy of Krishna, you cannot get anything. So now she's saying that, even they will get that. So what she's saying now here, out of her utter humility, she's saying that, you know what, Krishna, these topics of devotional service to you and things like that, they are beyond my reach. These are kind of the things that the Paramhamsas are going to talk about. Or, the advanced transcendentalists. Paramhamsanam, she's using the word Paramhamsanam here. They are going to do it. Or Munis, they're super intelligent, Durvasa Muni, right? They're super intelligent people, they have powers and all that. They are there, they are meant for that. And who are those people? They are purified by being able to discriminate between matter and spirit, okay? So we have to understand that as they continue to discriminate, and in Bhagavad Gita, we are reading also when he says that, I've told you before, there are two kinds of people who reach, self-realization. Some do it through Sankhya Yoga and some do it through Karma Yoga, like that. We're reading in Bhagavad Gita, right? So here also she's talking about these, Dhyanis and the Gyanis, the Sankhyites. They are going to continue to do that, but then they will come to a stage where they'll be able to discriminate between matter and spirit. So she's saying that, okay, Krishna, I have tried to describe you a little bit in the previous two verses, Maya hi Jaminikachanam and the one before that. I'm describing you a little bit, but then Krishna, topics of you are high caliber topics. I'm just a woman. I'm just a woman. I'm just a lady. I'm just a female, right? I'm just a female. So, how can I know you perfectly? So if Kunti is saying that, then we should not put on our mantles, especially for the Prabhus. They should not just say, see, Kunti also says that. Well, if any Prabhu says that, then he is not intelligent, right? The real intelligent Prabhus actually love Kunti Maharani's prayers because they see, and this whole verse is that Kunti is talking about is about seeing. So they are able to see the inner beauty of Kunti Maharani, what fantastic qualities that she has got, that despite of being so knowledgeable, she's saying, I'm just a woman, although she's the aunt also of Krishna, she says, I'm just a woman. Right? And in the purport, Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai says, even the greatest philosophical speculators cannot have access to the region of the Lord. It is said, okay, I'll talk about that. It is said in the Upanishads that the supreme truth, the absolute personality of Godhead, is beyond the range of thinking power of the greatest philosophers. He cannot, he's para. Right? He is unknowable by the great learning or by the greatest brain. And we read that last week when we said adhokshaja, right? We said right from like alphabet A all the way to Ksha. In the Sanskrit, you can make any permutations and combinations of these characters. You won't be able to define Krishna. And such a fantastic thing. Who is saying? Kunti is saying that, right? So he is knowable only by one who has his mercy. This is very, 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 very important statement. That Krishna is known only by one who has his mercy. We cannot rake our brains and demand that we're going to know Krishna like that. Others may go on thinking about him for years together. Bahunam janmanam ante, that's why he says, yet he is unknowable. This very fact is corroborated by the queen who is playing the part of an innocent woman. She's playing the part. She is not stupid. She is not unintelligent. She is playing the part of an innocent woman, right? And so a lot of ladies come to me and they are very unhappy with this statement. So when I sell a Srimad Bhagavatam to the ladies, and by the time they reach chapter 8, I am sure to get a phone call. I want to return the Srimad Bhagavatam. Like that, right? Because it is talking badly about women. So if you want to be a fly and go after wherever there is something rotten, we have a choice to be a fly. If you want to be a honeybee and go after the honeybee, you will find honey even in this verse, which so-called on the surface looks like it is degrading to women. It is not. And nowhere in our Shastras are women degraded. Everywhere women are respected, right? It's only in the recent times that Kali Yuga is taking shape there. So look at the important thing that Prabhupada is saying here. Women in general are unable to speculate like philosophers. Okay, understood. It's a construction, some algorithm which is used, and he's saying in general. So he's not talking about all the women in the world. He's not saying all the women are stupid. He's not saying that. We have stupid men also. Women in general are unable to speculate like philosophers, but look at this, but they are blessed by the Lord. Now, did you get up in the morning with this feeling that you are blessed by the Lord because you're a woman? If you did not think so, then tomorrow you can get up and write this statement down. And when you get up in the morning tomorrow, say that, I am blessed by the Lord because I got a lady's body. I am a woman. They are blessed by the Lord because they believe at once in the superiority and almightiness of the Lord. So women know where to put the bet. Right? Men will speculate, they will question, Bahunam Janmanam Ante. After many, many births of being kicked around in this material world, Vasudeva Sarvam Iti, their ego will be pacified. And not pacified, their ego will be shattered, and then they will surrender to Krishna. But here, being a woman, they have this special blessing by the Lord because they believe at once in the superiority and almightiness of the Lord. And thus they offer obeisances without any reservation. Men might not necessarily like the verse that we did yesterday. In the purport, there was this huge thing on how it was quoted that Krishna is the Dharapati and Dhiyapati and this Pati and that Pati. So all the Patis of the world who think that they are taking care of their wives, they are actually not taking care of the wives, right? A man won't be able to take care of the wife unless Krishna allows him to take care of the wife, right? So many men work so hard and they're not able to take care of the wives. So we have to remember that, right? So here's saying that they are able to at once believe in the superiority of the Lord. The Lord is so kind that he does not show special flavor only to one who is a great philosopher. So it's the mercy of Krishna. He knows the sincerity of purpose. So if women are sincere, if we all are sincere, then he will bless us with his mercy as well. He's already blessed us. He knows the sincerity of purpose. For this reason only, women generally assemble in great number in any sort of religious function. In every country and in every sect of religion, it appears that the women are more interested than the men. This simplicity, and simplicity is also a virtue of a devotee. This simplicity of acceptance of the Lord's authority is more effective than showing insincere religious fervor, right? A man can show a lot of religious fervor, but inside he is insincere. Instead of that, it is good to be simple, naive, and say that, we are expecting Lord's authority. And I will bow down to the Lord, I'll offer obeisances to him. Okay? And it is because of this, that because women are innocent, knowing that trait of women, our Shastras, knowing that trait that they are innocent, say in various places that they have to be protected. It's not that they are not capable of protecting themselves. The princesses of the olden times, right? When a woman was born in a royal family, she was taught all the martial arts. Among other things, she was also taught the martial arts. That's why Madri, not Madri, who is that? Kekai was with Maharaj Dashrath in the war field. I won't be able to go to a war field and see all the bloodshed, but she was there. They knew how to do horse riding. They knew how to, wield a sword. They learned all that as part of that. So it's not that, women don't do that, but are not capable of doing that, but because they are innocent in nature, they easily believe. So unscrupulous men can also take advantage of that. So that's why they say that, to prevent them from being led. Now, because women are innocent, so if one woman is being misled by another man, and if she turns to another woman, that other woman might also be innocent. And both of them might innocently decide that this rogue is the right person, right? So that is why they say, put them with somebody else who's not innocent. So put them in the care of a man, either a father or a husband or a brother. So it's not that they can do those things. Women, we know, do a lot more than men, especially in Kali Yuga. So when you're reading this verse, read it with that, in that mood, that it is this great queen, Kunti, who's very intelligent and is very strong for having suffered so much in her life and still did not give her for her devotional service. And that's the best use of intelligence. And that's the best conclusion that anybody can come to, right? And she will go and talk more and more details as the prayers of Queen Kunti evolve, which we will relish for the rest of the months that we have in front of us. So I'm going to stop here and open up the lines for reflections. Any questions, any comments, anything that comes to your heart here? And okay, go ahead.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Hare
Mataji,
Krishna.
I felt very happy today after reading this. And today was a special blessing of the Lord that I got up at 3:30 or so and finished my chanting all 20 rounds. So I was feeling very, very happy, Mataji. And on top of that, today in front of me is this, that I always feel degraded, fallen. I am fallen. I am. There are many, shortcomings. But after reading this, Kunti Maharani has given a lot of solace to the mind.
Very nice.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. Very nice. Thank you to Kunti Maharani and to Vyasadeva. Yeah. Very nice. Viraha Bhava.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Actually, I wanted to add a point, a comment on when you said Kunti Maharani says she's not intelligent. I think that if she was not, I don't think she would have survived whatever she went through in her life, the struggles and everything she went through and how she came out of it. So I think it's more like her humility that she's saying that she's not intelligent enough.
Yes.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to add.
Very nice. Yeah. So, and even on a physical plane, right? So this is humility, sufferings, they're all mental sufferings, right? And then there is physical suffering. And we always say women are the fair sex, right? They are fair, they are soft, and, they are not powerful physically. Well, yes, you may say to a certain extent, we can't lift heavy loads, or we're not as muscular as men are and things like that, right? However, when it comes to bearing the pain, right? So pain is measured. Pain is measurable, and it's measured in dole, right? DOLE, right? Not the dole pineapple juice that you get in Costco. Dole, DOLE. So DOLE is doles. And so, pain is 1 dole, 2 doles, 3 doles, 4. That's how they measure. So when they torture, for example, if you catch a spy, right? And then they start torturing them so that they will give up the secrets, right? So they start increasing the intensity, 1 dole, 2 dole, 3 dole, 4, like that. And beyond a certain point, they die, right? Because they can't bear that pain. So the spy can die. And if if he wants to live, then he'll tell the secret. So they go. So the dole, the maximum the number, the dole number 1, 2, 3, 4, like that, the maximum pain that a human being can tolerate before he dies is 9 doles. And what type of a pain is 9 dole beyond which he dies? Yes, Varshana has the answer. I would let her answer it.
While delivering the baby, she gets 9 dole. You only mentioned Mataji, I remember.
Thank you for remembering that. So 9 doles. And who bears that kind of a pain? Women. What do men do? They see their wife in the labor room and they faint. Right. So women are very strong. So don't feel that you're bad or lower or anything like that. So many women in the household will just keep quiet and not bring up arguments and general, spoil the atmosphere of a home. Even if people are saying something, they will just tolerate it. And by that, they become stronger still. And so in an argument between a husband and a wife, the husband is saying all nonsense and the wife doesn't retaliate. It doesn't mean that she's weak. It means that she's smarter and she's not being like a fly and putting her hands where something is dirty going on. She'd rather be the honeybee. So be the bee. So thank you. Anything else? Any other thoughts, questions, etc.?
Yes, Mataji, Hare Krishna.
Hare
Yeah,
Krishna.
like Varshana Mataji said, when she had the baby and she left the baby also, Kunti Maharani, that is another pain as a mother, whatever age she'll be. But she bear the pain and delivered the baby and she has to leave the baby. And she has to face the consequences, means society and other things. She wants to care for that.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
all these things, I don't think man can take it. that is one thing I just really liked it.
Yeah.
And then she couldn't tell when in the war also they say he's not Kshatriya, like that, they say. But she knows that, but she cannot tell anything. That is another thing she bears.
Yeah.
So that was really something. Hats off to her. So proud of a woman being a woman.
Yeah. Yeah. So no place should we feel, bad. But we should follow in the footsteps of Kunti. Trinadapi shunichena taroreva sahasrana manina manadena kirtaniya sadahari. Right? So to be able to do kirtaniya sadahari, the first 3 things have to happen. You have to get that humility.
And she wants more difficulties to think of Krishna. That's what she says. So
it's bold. That's very bold. She's
bold,
very bold.
It's very bold.
And yeah, she's saying it's a measure of pain of tolerance. Sukumarga, yeah, discriminate. Yeah. Okay, Namazi, you're answering her question. That's good. Yeah. Yeah. And so she's talking about Paramhamsas, right? Paramhamsas are at the extreme level. And Paramhamsas actually, when people go to the sannyas order of life, so there are various stages of sannyas also. So when a person takes sannyas, he just doesn't leave the home immediately like that. He will go and live in some kupi outside the village. And then after that, the idea is to slowly wean the person's wean him away from family attachments. And then after that, they go to, they are there, they will be doing intense studies. Actually, they used to study the Ishopanishads are part of the Vedas. And so there are sections of Vedas which are meant for certain stages in life, right? So a Grihastha would read certain aspects of the Vedas because Grihastha has to do Grihastha ashram and perform the duties there, sacrifices and things like that. So he will study those, right? Brahmacharis will study, other parts of the Vedas. And so the sannyasis, when they go and leave the family, they start reading the Ishopanishad part of the Vedas, and which go really deep into the understanding of the Shastras. And so there, slowly, their purification happens. And so they are outside they are living, and then they realize that, okay, sun has to send the food, someday food will come, not come, but they still survive, or somehow or the food appears. So then they realize that actually Krishna is the one who supplies everything, and not myself or my king or my son or my daughter. It is Krishna who supplies everything to them. And so then they think that, if Krishna is Krishna is the one who's providing me, why should I stay attached to this kutia? Why do I have to stay attached to my village? Why do I have to be near my son? Because Krishna will provide me wherever I go. So then they go and become, what are known as pravarjikacharyas, right? So in our Prem Dhwani, we say, right? We use the word pravarjikacharya. And so those are people who are now going to, roam about on the planet Earth, and they will be totally dependent on Krishna. Actually, they will not even sleep under the same tree for more than 3 days. That's the kind of, detachment that they develop, right? And then, they come to the Paramhamsa stage. So Paramhamsa stage, and she says that, when she's saying Paramhamsa, and over there in the meanings, it's that, mentioned in the explanations, that they are the ones who are they are purified by being able to discriminate between matter and spirit. So Paramhamsa, the word Param is Param, at the highest, and Hamsa, so Hamsa is the bird. And one of the qualities of the Hamsa bird is that it's able to separate out milk and water. And of course, as I was growing up, when I heard about this, and so I read that it's a mythological bird, because how can you separate milk from water, right? Once milk is mixed into water is mixed into milk, then that's it, So now later on, I came to know from my Guru Maharaj, actually. So how it happens is that this Hamsa has got a long beak. Yeah, it's got a long beak, right? So what happens is that on the beak, it'll take the milk. So it's a long beak. And inside the beak, there are enzymes. The beak is lined with enzymes. So when the milk goes inside, it curdles. And then the water and the essence of the milk will separate. And then at the bottom of the beak, it has got kind of like a sieve. And through that sieve, all the water will drop. And only the essence of the milk will remain in the beak, and it'll take it inside. So it does separate it out, it does separate it out. So when our Shastras say these things, it's not that it's a mythological story or it doesn't happen. It's just that you don't know enough that you're calling Shastras as mythologies. So they do that. So the Paramhamsas are Paramhamsas are those who are able to separate out the matter from the spirit. And it's not that, they know what is the essence that I should take, from the mixture, what I am mixed, in the sense that, I am here, I'm an embodied soul. I am here in this matter, but what is the good that I can take out? So they will be the honeybee, and because this human body can be used for so many purposes, right? The mouth can be used for singing songs, right? Now you can sing filmy songs, or you can sing, bhajans, you can dance Bollywood dances, or you can dance in front of Krishna, like that. So to be able to sift and sort and say, okay, this is what I want, is something that, Paramhamsas do. And we should always be aiming at doing that as well. Archana, I saw your hand now, sorry. Go ahead, unmute.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Thank you so much for, very nice Kunti Maharani's prayers. I'm really overwhelmed by, hearing all these wonderful prayers, from her. It really touches my heart. And the best point which I liked, and which you pointed out specifically, is like, you should be blessed, you should feel blessed being in a female's body, because God has blessed you with this body. And this is the best takeaway from not only this class, I'll take away this through every time. This is the best, I can just relish it throughout my life. So and you should be blessed not only because you have firm faith in Lord's superiority. I feel as you rightly mentioned, we have the capability, the tolerance, the greatest power to bear the pain, which is just unbelievable. Even the men, they cannot do it. So thank you, Mataji, so much for bringing out this. I really liked it so much.
Yeah, and Prabhupada knew that. Prabhupada said that in the purport. He knew that.
Yeah.
He knew. He knows, where a woman can slip and where she's strong. So
yeah,
focus
and
on
and Queen's Kunti's humility, like being so much intelligence, she has so much of intelligence, and she was harassed by so much of turmoils in her life, still she's so grounded and so much, humbled, and whatever she's doing, everything she's, praying it to the Lord so sincerely. So it's really very nice, Mataji. Thank you so much.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Thank you for reiterating that. Yeah, this is some sentence we can remind ourselves every day and not feel bad that why am I a woman? Krishna has blessed you with that. Any other thing? We have 1 minute. Anything else that you
Wonderful
want to say?
class, Mataji.
Is Kunti
That's the
Maharani.
last Kunti Maharani ki jai. That was the nice class. Nice things to. I don't know all the other prayers what she says.
Oh,
Isn't
she would only be better than, yeah.
Very good.
You're coming
Nice
from
class
Kunti.
today.
Yes, and she's speaking Sanskrit.
Yeah.
She's speaking Sanskrit.
Motherji, the last sentence of the purport is so beautiful. The simplicity of acceptance of Lord's authority is more effective than showing insincere religious fervor. Very nice.
Yeah. Shruti-priya.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. My Dandavut Pranam to everybody. So I keep thinking how all of females, basically all of us, we feel so much connected with Kunti Maharani. And I was thinking at the back of my mind that how we have our own struggles, being in a female body, and we have such responsibility. We have emotions, which is different than male person. And so when we look at or listen to Kunti Maharani's struggle, we feel connected. We feel inspired, right? We feel that, okay, Kunti Maharani is able to keep her faith so strong, going through all this struggle. We can follow her in some way, we gain strength from her, I feel. This is
Lots, definitely. Definitely, yeah. I mean, we just have to rethink of, or remind ourselves of what she went through in life, and then whatever we are going through in life will appear to be just nothing.
Nothing.
Right.
Thank you so much, Mataji.
Thank you for sharing that thought. Yeah. Viraha Bhav has raised her hand.
Actually, I wanted to add, Mataji, that no matter whatever she went through, she never was like, oh, this person did it to me, or I don't deserve this. She was always she was philosophically very I don't know how, yeah, that she didn't let it affect her in a way that would put her into depression or anything like that. It just made her depend more on Krishna, and she understands that she's an instrument, and this has nothing to do with her, but it's something that she's trying to teach everybody else.
Exactly. Yeah. And it's a very interesting thing that you bring up, where you said that she did not point out and say that it is because of this person, right? It's very, very interesting, and a very, very interesting point that you brought up, because that you bring up, and that is that and that is because in the beginning of Srimad Bhagavatam, where we have Parikshit Maharaj, the Mahabharata has ended, and Parikshit Maharaj is ruling the world, and he's on the tour of his kingdom, and he comes across this bull, right? The Dharma, the bull who's standing on one leg, and then there is Earth who's asking, like, who has done this to you?
Yeah.
And Parikshit Maharaj also asked that question, who has done this to you? He does not name the perpetrator. He does not name. And there it is mentioned that, if something is happening to you, and you name and say that this is happening to me because of such and such a person, then you get a portion of the karmic reaction. Like somebody did atrocity on us, and he said, who did it? That policeman, or that milkman, or whoever did that. So that pointing out whatever sufferings or whatever karmic reaction that policeman or that person is going to get, you're going to get a piece of that. It's mind-boggling philosophy. It's mind-boggling philosophy. And she understands that. She understands that. She's not a Bhakti. She didn't go to Bhakti Shastri, Bhakti Vaibhav classes. I mean, of course, she would have gone to classes, but you know, she is a princess. She could have just enjoyed her life. There was no need for her to do anything other than put on makeup. Right, and look beautiful as a queen mother, but she didn't. She's so knowledgeable. Yeah, I mean, of course, apart from the fact that Kunti is participating, and here also it says that she's acting out the role, so that itself is telling us that you know, she's acting out the role. But then the fact that she's participating in Krishna's Leela, that itself tells us about her. Forget about what to talk about the character of Kunti that is being portrayed here. I'm talking about the Kunti, the soul Kunti. What an advanced soul that is, right?
Yeah.
To have made the right decisions, never complained about it, you know.
Yeah.
And and she's constantly just bringing out her weaknesses and her bad points. You know, that's the other extreme of advanced devotee, who will only see faults in themselves, and others they will see good in others, even if the good is going to come in a future date. Right. So at some point you might see that, you know, your Guru Maharaj there's somebody very obnoxious, and everybody wants to just, you know, throw stones at them. They're so obnoxious. And then your Guru Maharaj is very tolerant for them. You know, whatever little thing they do, they will appraise them, and you're like, what's wrong? What's wrong? Can't they see? No, they see. And again, this whole verses are about seeing, that your spiritual master actually sees more than you do. The spiritual master sees the future. A saint sees not the faults of a person, but a saint sees the future potential. And seeing that future potential, he grooms his disciple accordingly. Right? So that while others might be saying that this disciple is good for nothing, they used to see that to Prabhupada also. You know, why Prabhupada? Why does this person, you know, like that? But they know the future of what's going to happen. So they behave differently. Like that. Yeah. Okay. So on this happy note, shall we take leave here? I didn't have a chance to talk to Shalini Mataji because I came here to the class. I'm also going to talk to her. But I'm going to stop the Facebook live stream. Thank you so much for